Can you imagine a video where the two founders of a Red Bar meet in a bar with me and share their 3 watch collections? If you can imagine it, we can do it.
Yeah, and we are here and we're exactly where we need to be.
We just did it. If you live in America and you're into watches, you have to check out Time+Tide. This is our new clubhouse, 460 Broome Street, Soho, in an emerging watch district. There's so many shops around here, but nothing like this. We're one level up above the street. It's super serene and calm. We have all the impossible to get watches from the internet here, as well as events and launches. Brands like Studio Underdog, Ferrer Murray, Serica, Baltic, Christopher Ward, all the brands you've seen on your watch-loving friends' wrists are here to try on and to buy. And in the city that never sleeps, we don't either. We're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. So come on down to Time+Tide, New York, 460 Broome Street, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. We'll see you at Time+Tide, New York. Welcome to New York, everybody. This is Kathleen, this is Adam. And these two people have done more for the community and watches than any other two people on the planet, I would posit. You were the...
I will accept that.
Okay. Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, you know, I think the first thing you have to understand about Red Bar is that it was never supposed to exist. It started because I met a fellow watch collector back in, I want to say like 2006. And, you know, sort of like, you're cool, I'm cool, you know, like maybe once a month we get together, we talk about watches. And it turns out we work very closely together, Midtown Manhattan. And I went out one day for lunch and I found a bar that was sort of equidistant between our offices. And you're right, it was Red Bar. And it was a Korean dive bar above a Korean restaurant, you know, right on the border of Koreatown. And that's where we started hanging out. And it was really supposed to be kind of just us, you know, taking, you know, once a month, a little time out of our schedules to talk about a hobby that nobody else in our lives wanted to talk about. And so this was somebody, my friend, Dr. Jeffery Jacques, who, you know, we could have the full conversation. So there were 3 of us then there were 5, then there were 10, and now we're meeting every 2 weeks. And people were sort of saying like, well, hey, Adam, you know, are we doing Red Bar? We going to Red Bar? Is Red Bar happening? And it just sort of grew from there. And then, you know, we have to enter Kathleen. Well, and that is the thing, because without Kathleen, we really wouldn't be talking about this right now in the way that we are, because she's the one who really helped us become, you know, a more professional organization and sort of just rallied the troops.
Yeah, I was like, this is a thing I'm interested in. I must know everything about it. And Red Bar actually was helpful in that, because people would bring watches and you can say, what's special about this watch? And they will talk to you for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. See, there you can do that.
Yeah.
That's the, yeah.
Yeah. So I started learning about things. Like I saw the first Nomos. This is before Nomos had a retail presence in the United States. So there was nowhere to see them. And someone brought one to Red Bar. So it's things like that got me like really up to speed really fast. And then of course, now I just spend all my time thinking about them and it's terrible.
I think if you'd have seen the future from that meeting with your mate and just said, what?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same. When we met, Time+Tide was an Australian website.
Yep.
Or blog, God forbid we even use it. And now, you know, we face this prospect of this reality that we're in New York. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be a home and a physical space, which, you know, again, it's key that this happened with Red Bar, because this is truly the ground zero for community assembly, for groups around the world. It is only fair that a video focused on watches and people that love them start with a wrist check. And this is my Straum Jan Mayen with a golden moss dial. And you did something I'd never done before, which is light it up with UV. And the lume is insane.
And I hate to say, your watch would probably be one of those watches where just somebody just walked, hey, I caught that dial, the 3D effect. You know, what is that? And then 20 minutes in, they're regretting asking you this. And you're like, well, so actually this company, and so the way that they make the dial this is going to blow your mind.
So that's me. That's the Straum. What about you, Kathleen?
I am wearing a JLC Reverso tribute to 1931 with...
Uh-oh.
There's always a, yeah.
New York City skyline on the back.
Well, hello.
Well, you explain why
Is this Midtown? Because we're in Midtown right now.
We are in Midtown. This is, it's kind of the Midtown skyline. It's got the Chrysler Building and the Empire State and all that stuff. So this one was actually made, not the current boutique in New York, but the one prior to it. So JLC has moved boutiques a couple of times. When they opened that boutique, they made 2 pieces. First of all, I'm not from New York City originally, but I've lived here for a very long time. The Chrysler Building is literally my favorite building. It's the anchor when I come home from travel. Like I see that and I'm like, I feel like I'm home. So I had to own this watch.
Yep.
And it's a keeper.
Oh, that's not the only watch on you though.
Oh no, I have a ring watch on. I've got I've got a Casio digital watch as well.
Nerd.
I know.
Who would do that?
Who would do that?
I don't know. Sometimes I wear pendant watches too, so I do like a little
You
thing.
paired it back this time.
I did. I'm only wearing
appreciate.
2 watches currently.
Yeah.
And I actually have quite a lot of ring watches and pendant watches. I started collecting kind of all of those things. So every once in a while,
All of the watches.
all of the watches, and I'll put like Instagram stories up and be like, how many watches am I wearing with like just an outfit pick, and people have gotten pretty good
Yeah,
at
they're wise
picking
to
them
your-
out
to
now.
your ways.
But every once in a while I trick them.
Yeah, that is fair. So I'm actually wearing, it's a watch, preface this by saying it's probably one of the most impractical, ridiculous watches. So it's an LED watch, light emitting diode, and it comes from a very interesting period of time in horology. The quartz watch had just come out, completely upended what we know about watchmaking. But there were still, people trying to figure, well, how do we move to the future? And, the future from the 70s standpoint was still very Jetson-esque. And, we're going to be taking vacations on the moon. We're going to have flying cars. And so the LED was sort of just the avatar of that. You press a button and these glowing red lights come on and like, oh my God, it's the future, but it's here now on your wrist. To me, it was just a given. I have to have the modern version. And to their credit, rather than taking some off the shelf, movement, LED diodes, they recreated their watch from the 70s, but now entirely in ceramic, titanium, sapphire crystal. So it's all the modern materials that we have and the access to that technology, but with the most impractical, ridiculous, sort of forgotten technology. And to me, that's almost like what horology is. So anyway, long story short, ridiculous watch, love it.
45 minutes later, we've finished.
This is what it means. When you ask somebody about watches, and then that's what happens. So you all have just experienced what just the average person coming up to a watch collector deals with. I know you all want to go away at this point, but you can't because we got you.
So now having had 45 minutes on the wrist check, we're going to do the 3 watch collection in 5 minutes each. We're going to set a hard time race. But the point of this is people know you guys from RedBar. They know RedBar. They've all heard about it. They've probably joined chapters. But let's get to know you through some watches. And also, in addition to, this most New York setting, I feel like at the end of the day, people watch YouTube to hear stories about watches specifically. So the mission was really just to build a 3 watch collection, explain what the hell your rationale was, and get into it. So do you want to start? Who's gonna?
Kathleen.
Ladies first.
I've been drawing too much.
Okay, you have been drawing quite a lot. Okay.
Oh, I like that they stay hidden. This is
They
Oh,
do,
yeah,
they stay
I know.
hidden.
Mysterious.
It's very mysterious. So the first one I have is the Oris RedBar LE that we just came out with in October. This is a second limited edition that we did with Oris. This one is, if you'd like to take a look, this one's a little bit more modern. So the one we did in 2018 had a more vintage feel. It had, kind of an aged color loom. It was a little bit bigger. This one's their more modern diverse watch. It's the first collab they did on this platform. And it's got what we love, which is that gradient red dial that's like just super pretty, because the red in our logo is kind of like really bright red. It's this color, like it's like that, which is way too red for a watch dial for most people. So we did it with a nice like dark red, which is really pretty. So I thought I'd bring it because it's our most recent collaboration.
It does have a cocktaily vibe to it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Is it a Manhattan vibe maybe?
Could be.
I think it's somewhere in. I think it's more Boulevardier for a cocktail.
Okay.
Or a Vicaire.
Accurate.
Yeah.
So that's a relatively new, there's not too many stories apart from the fact that the story with Oris is is interesting with you guys because it's been there for a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've
Great
been.
relationship with them.
Yeah, we have a really good relationship with them, and they've, there's always been a lot of love for Oris in the community. It's like, an accessible price point and all that stuff. So, but they're just kind of community oriented. They come and hang out. They don't.
Yeah.
They're not even like usually like, VJ Geronimo will come and just sit and have drinks. He's not trying to sell you anything. He's just like hanging out with watch people. So
Oh, yeah, you'd be like, wait, are you guys meeting this week? I'm just going to be in town. I thought I would. Yeah, sure.
he just swings by. So the second watch I brought is the Rottner Captain Cook. What was it? What was it? The
Burgundy Bronze.
The bronze Burgundy. And so when it came out, people were kind of nicknaming it the Ron Burgundy after Anchorman.
Yeah.
But this one, the rough theme here is red, but I recently pulled this out of the safe and started wearing it a whole bunch, and I just kind of love it.
I feel like the hands are in a glass cage of emotion.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's just really lovely. It's just really lovely. But I do like this bronze too because it's like
that is new bronze.
It doesn't has
this
patina.
alloy has a lot of I think aluminium in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stabilized.
This alloy doesn't really patina.
That is just like a glass of red on the wrist though.
Yeah, it's
I don't know
really
whether
pretty.
it's the context. I'm just so thirsty. Every
It
watch
really
is
did
reminding
something
me
to
of
me
drinks.
now.
There's
Yeah,
a lot
come on,
of blues right there.
That's like a Burgundy.
It's
as in
really
a delicious
lovely.
glass of Burgundy.
It's just a lovely piece, and I actually wear a lot of gold jewelry too, so the bronze case kind of goes with that. So,
I mean, if I could just interject for a second too, I'm a big Rotto fan. I feel like they don't get the maybe respect they deserve these days, but back in the day they were known, the master materials, ceramic and all this other stuff. But I just love the design of the Captain Cook. In all of its forms.
Do you remember how accidental a hit that was? Like now it's a platform, but I remember, Marcus, I think you were there too. We shot this watch and me and you, and I think it was Felix at the time, were just like, why is this not up front? Because they were like, oh, there's also this. And we were like, this is it.
This is what you lead with. You don't put that in the back. And
people love it now.
But it was an accidental hit, wasn't it? Do you remember that year?
It was, yeah. And
we all loved it.
Yeah, Revolution did a version with them and some other people. They had 37 millimeter. They had a 45 millimeter at one point. But I think they've dialed the formula in now. And of course, now they have the full ceramic version. So you really can get, the full Rotto experience, but then have that sort of vintagey Captain Cook thing. And I'm going to let that one go because I'm totally co-opting, but I just want to say I have so much love for it.
Two luscious red dials. And what's the third watch here?
The third watch that I brought is Complete Departure.
Automotive strap. Ooh.
Oh, this is a good one.
So this one is a vintage Longines Comet, which is a mystery dial. So the minute hand, well, it's not running right now. Let me just wind it a bit, or maybe it's not running. So the minute hand is here, and then the hour hand is in the center. So the minute hand basically just floats around. Actually, they both kind of float. You'll have to take my word for it. But it just kind of floats in space. I thought I would bring two modern watches and a vintage watch. Tell me, how did you acquire this one? And was it just an accidental kind of browse? Or? That one I acquired from Analog Shift because James Lambden has and will always be a clear and present danger to my wallet. It's funny. Analog Shift actually posted a slow-mo video of it on their Instagram, and I saw it, and I was like, must own, and I texted a friend of mine that worked there. And I actually beat out John Ferrer for this watch. So the guy who founded Brew watches also contacted them, but not fast enough. So I got it, and he did not.
Is it fair to say? It's uncontroversial to say that no one has an archive like Longines, and no one dominated so many consecutive decades like Longines. Can you give me a brand that could even contest with their power across all eras?
I mean, I was going to say Rolex because they're just the 800-pound gorilla and seem to have always existed since time immemorial. But when you're talking about Longines, you're also talking about such a complete collection.
Yes, and
There's
well
so many-
weighted.
Yes, so many different genres of watches. Where not to say Rolex is a one-trick pony, but we look at them for something rather specific these days. Whereas Longines got something for everyone.
Yeah.
And so to do that consistently for as long as they have, and I think some people don't even really understand how big Longines is, right? How many watches they actually sell and how important they are to Swatch Group at this point. But yeah, it's interesting. And what I like too is they're sort of coming back into their own. When you look at what their current collection is versus say even a year ago or 2 years ago, it's really incredible. And not just for somebody who's looking for value and dipping their toes into horology for the first time, but also for the seasoned collector, that there's stuff there. And I think, for a collector like myself, who last time I checked is not a millionaire, it's nice to be able to find these pieces that have the design, have the provenance that you wear with pride. There's no sacrifice made to this or that, but yet, guess what? I was able to buy it and not have my wife divorce me.
Well, I think it's like from a per unit perspective, I think they sell more than anyone else, right? It's
The volume's up there, like
their
there's-
volume is higher than
Obviously, Swatch and Tissot and Longines. I mean, their volumes are massive, but it's well over 1.5 million watches a year.
Yeah.
So more than Rolex.
And to maintain that level of quality too, it's that's something that Rolex we know is mastered. But it's nice to see somebody beyond the crown sort of doing that.
So is there a rationale here? I mean, we've got 2 RedBar editions and then a completely kooky vintage. Is this you on a plate? What is this?
No, this one's not actually a RedBar edition. It just happens to be red.
Oh.
So the rationale, it kind of was, it was too modern and a vintage.
Okay.
So that was my rationale.
Mr. Craniotes.
All righty. Why don't we start just with the piece we are already seeing, the
Did you know you were going to double up?
We did not.
So you're both wearing Casio rings, which you didn't mention.
Oh yeah, he's also wearing a
Oopsie.
Casio ring.
Oops, yeah, I would do that.
This is how we activate our Wonder Twin powers.
Form of a gorilla.
Yeah.
And then then you've got option 2.
Yeah,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
we can do that. There are a couple of reasons for this. This is actually the first watch I wore for 2026. Part of that being, it's our first collaboration. Well, last collaboration from the previous year. I do love how it looks. I wear it constantly to the point where I do have to force myself to wear other watches. But what I love most, I think, is just what it represents in terms of our relationship as RedBar with Oris. Kathleen had alluded to the fact, that we love them. That their values align with our values. But, the fact that the people who run this brand, from Rolf to VJ and now Josh Shanks, are actually very close friends of mine. I can't say that about a lot of brands. It's a very personal connection. And so when I look at this watch and I wear this watch, I really feel like from when we started and first met to look at us now kind of thing. And frankly, it makes me start thinking about what's the third RedBar LE going to look like. So
You heard it first.
I don't know. For me, it's a very, very important watch. It punches above its weight in terms of the design, and I love it.
At least his is on the bracelet and mine is on the rubber
We
strap.
did, yeah.
So-
See, there's,
So we're slightly different.
there's
a
some
little.
variety here. We're not one-trick ponies, people. All right, the second watch, and I think it ties into what you were saying about how watches, for everything that I said that had nothing to do with what you were alluding to, watches, they tell stories, but they also connect us to people. This watch, I think if you're even remotely passionately familiar with me as a collector, I think a lot of people would say that this watch was sort of my signature watch. This is an IWC Top Gun Big Pilot perpetual calendar. Say that 3 times fast. And again, an utterly ridiculous timepiece. The Big Pilot is an iconic case, the iconic design of theirs. The Top Gun relationship, a little cheesy, but, something that they were known for. And then this perpetual calendar complication, which is a bit unique among perpetual calendars, whereas, it's all controlled through a single crown. So as opposed to little pushers that are going to move the year or the date or the moon phase, you don't have to worry about it. It's almost set and forget. And then it has, of course, you can see a little digital display for the year. I love that design. And then, of course, it's made entirely out of ceramic and titanium. And these are 2 materials that IWC was, kind of known for being early proponents of. So To me, this is all of IWC in a single ridiculous watch. Now, the ridiculous aspect, of course, is that if you want a real pilot's watch, one thing you don't want is ceramic because it's going to shatter if you smash in it on stuff. Also, you don't want all these little busy dials. The whole point is just instant legibility, but who cares? Again, watches are not practical. That's that. And then finally, another watch that represents, I think, more than just a watch. This is the Bulgari Octo Finissimo Chronograph GMT. Now, when this watch was released, I think it was 2019, it won the GPHG in its category, and it was another record breaker for Bulgari. They were on a roll at this point already with this watch, just world's thinnest this, world's thinnest that, world's thinnest that. Here they have the world's thinnest chronograph, which is a complication I love to use. It's something you can use every day. I always forget that I started it because 10 hours later, I mean, what the hell was I timing? But it's something you can interact with, unlike, say, a perpetual calendar. It's a very tactile, so you have that. And on top of that, it's a GMT. But again, world's thinnest. And when I say world's thinnest chronograph, they're talking about, just a plain chronograph. On top of that, it's also a GMT.
I thought that was pretty audacious.
Yeah, and then it's also an automatic. You can't really see it here, but it does have the peripheral rotor on the back, which sometimes gets stuck because it's very thin. What I wanted was a little more difficult. I wanted loom. And so here we have the Bulgari Octo Finissimo Chronograph GMT Revolution White Light. That's the name, White Light.
It's got both of those have a lot of names.
A lot of names. Yeah, it just is a little bit of everything. And if I'm being perfectly honest, this is my favorite watch. Whenever I travel, I wear this watch. It never fails to make me smile. And it's definitely not everybody's cup of tea, which I think I also love. This design is not for everyone.
And if you want to see the legitimacy of that, follow Adam. This has been the ultimate RedBar interview because it's been literally behind a bar.
Behind a bar. You got both of us.
I got both of you. Can I join the hug?
Two for the price of one.
In Midtown.
Midtown.
Where it all began.
Where it began, New York
Ground
City.
Zero.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about what we love talking about.
And if I haven't mentioned it before, you guys there's some weird twinning going on. This was completely unscripted, but this is why RedBar is what it is.
It is.
Synchronicity. Yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Comment below. Get amongst it.